All right, guys, we are back. It is time. You probably saw the thumbnail. It is time for me to drain my garden. And what that means is for the first time, I'm actually going to claim from the garden and I'm going to figure out what to do with it. What I want to do for you guys is I wanted to do it on camera so you could see how much it was really going to impact my LP production, if my dollar value was going to go down a lot, how far have I outrun the decay, and how much can I claim. So I'm starting on a new strategy. I believe I want to claim 3 times a week, and I'll claim basically half days, so somewhere between 10 and 12 hours if I can get that done. So I'm gonna go on that schedule for a little while, and I'm gonna track it, and we're gonna see what happens. So I don't want to damage my garden. I want to continue the growth. Of course, this will slow the growth down a lot, but I built it up pretty well, so I feel like I've far outrun the decay. And it's time for me to get in a position where I can ROI. I also want additional drip into the faucet. I think the faucet's about to go off. Plus, I can do whatever I want with that BUSD. You know, maybe it's time to load up on pigs or whatever. I need some more B-Reap tokens, and I want to have a little bit set aside so when dogs launch, I can, pick up 15 dogs or something. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do with that money. And of course, the reason we play around in DeFi to begin with and take all this high risk is to make that money. So I have compounded continuously for a few months, and now it's time for me to take a little bit out. So let's go quickly look at some data. First up, 473 LPs locked. The contract balance on the drip garden just keeps continuing to go up, which is fantastic. I think people see that it's a sleeper play, and it's fantastic for me because I'm in. I just DCA'd again a couple days ago, put another, I don't even know what it was, maybe like 80 bucks in, got myself some additional plants, and I'm building my plant balance up as much as I can. Right now, plants grown is 1.75 million. So I would have liked to have gotten to 2 million, but Friday is supposed to be my claim day, so that's why I'm doing this now. Seeds available as far as value is about $94, so that's 9.9 LPs, which means of course that LPs are worth about 10 bucks a piece. So I'm excited about that. Let's jump over to the Dune site real quick. Now the Dune site's lagging behind a little bit, so this isn't my updated data, as you'll notice. Okay, it looks like it did update. As of this morning, it wasn't showing my recent compound, but it's in there now. So anyway, as you can see, I DCA'd all the way up. My starting period was somewhere here, or like around May 1st. And you've got these little bounce up periods where of course I DCA'd in all the way up. So I've got a nice trajectory here. It's got my wallet interest at 3.33%. That of course probably doesn't account for the time decay. Not the time decay, but just the total decay in the garden. Plants per day producing about 58,000, which is awesome. It says my wallet value right now is 5,300. So good news. A lot of this was just me DCAing and putting additional funds in, but I did get some people who joined under my link. So appreciate that to all you guys. Again, if you want to join the garden, you find this stuff important and informational, and you think the garden might be a sleeper play, you're welcome to join under anybody's link, and you don't even need to join under a link. But no matter what, when you make a deposit, a small percentage will go to the contract just as a small fee. Now, if you use someone's link, the contract will then pay the person who referred you a small commission in plants, and it'll just it'll go into the garden for them. So if you like my content and you want to pay me back, I guess, in a way that doesn't hurt you, best way to do it would probably be join the garden. I'll get a little kickback, and then of course I will continue to make videos on this so you guys can kind of see my thought process, my breakdown. But as you can see, I've been compounding for several months. I have not taken a single dime out of here. So where's my ROI? So wallet ROI, right? I'm negative 100%. I haven't taken anything out. This is the first time. So let's see what happens. And I think before we get that done, let's jump over to this tool. Listen, if you guys aren't using DevStreaks tool, drip.formulate.finance, I'll put a link to it down below. This to me is a must. So you've got a few different things. You can use it for the garden, which is what I use it most for. Drip also, of course, Piggy bank, pig pen, and then I'm sure there'll be some sort of dogs thing in here, but we'll see how they develop this out. You'll get a version straight out the gate, but it doesn't give you quite as much detail, and I like the detail so I can know what the heck's going on. So if you come down here, you can just do a little donation to his deal. I want to say to get the garden, access to the garden, it's just 5 BUSD, totally worth it. And then as you go up, the price increases. So I think if you're like pig pen status and you want the good info in pig pen, you want to be 25 BUSD. So if you want the access to, I guess, every suite of products that he's got in here, 25 BUSD. But if you want to do less, you can do less. I believe that drip, to get to the drip level, you've got 10 BUSD, and the garden's just 5. So if you're just going to use it for the garden, you know, just send over $5 in BUSD to that wallet address, and you'll get all the access to the information you need. I like it also for my piggy bank a lot because it breaks down my stakes and everything very well. So I donated more. I haven't donated up to the pig pen thing, so I'm probably, I don't know, 15-20 bucks in right here that I donated, but it's well worth it. For $5, you want this data. So what we're looking at for my garden right now is daily returns, 178 bucks USD. This is going to fluctuate up and down, of course. I'm making 18.8 LPs and 58,000 plants per day. As you can see, my total plant balance here is 1.75 million. My percentage of the total contract is 0.119, so that's cool. It's getting higher and higher as things go along. It's got the drip price here. That must be pulling that off a pancake swap, because drip, I think, is about 730, 740 right now on the native decks. And I'm producing a plant every under a second and a half, so every 1.47 seconds. So not too bad. It was super cool to see this go from like a few minutes to getting faster and faster and faster. So I enjoy the compounding period. I'm way out in front of the decay. So as you can see here, time since my last compound was 13 hours, 37 minutes. I was trying to do this right at the 12-hour mark, but my computer didn't want to record. My editing software decided that I needed to update my drivers once I updated the editing software, and it took me about 90 minutes to get that sorted out. So here we are. I'm going to claim a little more than I would have liked, and then we're just going to track it in the system. So what I'm going to do is refresh this real quick, and I'm going to figure out how I want to track this. I'm just doing this on the fly, so let's see what happens, and then I'll evolve my strategy from week to week and see what I need to track. But this is the most updated data. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this. Hopefully that doesn't look too messed up for you guys. All right, I've got my screenshot, and I'm going to come over to my little crypto spreadsheet, and I'm going to drop it in there. All right, we'll make it big enough so you guys can see it, hopefully here. But basically what this is gonna do is this is actually just gonna track my before and after. So this is the before screenshot we're about to claim from the garden. Then we'll throw up an after screenshot, and we can tell the difference between the two, and then I'll throw my stuff in here. So let's quickly claim from the garden. And to do that, I'm gonna use the old site while it's still around. I like it. Give me a sec. I'm gonna work on the ledger real quick. Come up here, click harvest. Okay, it looks like I've harvested. My harvest has been successful. So let's see what happened. Let's go refresh this real quick. All right, so far, it took me a second to reread this, and I tried to refresh a few times just to see, but so far it's made no difference. So about a minute and a half goes when I did it. Time to create a plant's the same. It did drop my my USD value by just 10 cents so far. So it could be that the price on the drip side is going up a little bit and the contract balance is going up. So it's looking a little bit better than it should, but right now that's looking solid. I'm going to keep track of it because I'm really interested to see how this is going to work. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's finish tracking it. I will try and put down all the information into the spreadsheet. Then what I want to do is I want to show you guys how to take those LP tokens and split them apart. So I could leave them in my wallet right now and then use them in the farms, but there's still several weeks for the farms. I can use the drip for some airdrops. I could put them into my account, into my faucet. I can use the BUSD for pigs. So I think it's more useful for me right at this moment to use it in other areas. So I'm going to do that for now, but there will be a time coming up and soon where I'm just going to start stacking those LPs because I want to be ready when the farm launches to drop those into the drip BUSD LP pool to earn pigs, because I want more pigs, of course, in the pig pen, because that's my my share of that contract. So all the transactions that happen on the animal farm, I get a little sliver of it. You guys know my strategy. I've talked about it for a while, but until I feel like the time is right, my strategy is going to be to utilize these drip BUSD LPs in other ways. So let's track this bad boy. All right, paste it in here. As you can see, it didn't make too much of a difference here. So if you can see them both, 178.75 to 178.65. Slight reduction in LP, still producing the same for daily, so it didn't hit me that hard. And a lot of people are complaining about the garden. Hey, the decays too fast. I compounded for months straight, And I had the benefit of I waited a little while so the contract balance had gone down, and then I bought in. And even from then it went down, but I was compounding fast enough to where it was pretty much outrunning the whole time. Then it came back up, and now that it's back on the rise. So some of the guys that bought in real early put a bunch of money in, and then the contract balance took a hit. You know, they're having a hard time outrunning the decay, and they're just compounding. I would say either keep compounding or consider DCAing at this low level. You'll get a ton of plants, and those additional plants will help you outrun it. Now, I know it takes, it's tough to put more money into an investment that's technically not making you money yet, but it's the same thing with Drip. Like, Drip isn't technically making me money yet. I'm more in it for the long term. I know it's going to pan out. All these new developments that are going to come out, I mean, they're going to be big hitters. So I'm investing in the undervalued asset, and now it's growing. So I got lucky. I DCA'd a bunch. I spent a bunch of time compounding. I've far outrun the decay. And now, as you can see, when I claim, it's almost not even taking effect. So that's my first claim. We'll see what happens next, but I'm thinking Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12-hour ranges, 10 to 12 hours, you know, whenever I'm ready, and it falls in between that time. So I'll try to track it. I'm not going to get every single one on camera, but I'll try to get several. That way you guys can see the whole flow. So first thing we need to do is I'm just going to fill out my little tiny grid here. Since this is a garden, I should switch this over to green. There we go. That seems more appropriate. Okay. So hours run, let's call it 13 hours, 38 minutes. It's probably actually a little bit longer because I was dicking around a little bit while I was talking to you guys. But normally when I post that picture, it's going to be pretty close to that. So we'll go 1338, and we'll go get the number of LPs and dollar value real quick. Okay, as you can see here, I've got 10.798 LPs. LPs right now are about 990, so 990 times that 10.798 equals 106.81. So not too bad so far. So if I claim 3 times a week in roughly that amount of time, you're talking about at least 300, maybe like 325 or something like that a week without damaging my plant growth. I mean, so far it looks really good. So if I can continue on this, I may try to continue to claim, maybe even up my claim strategy a little bit more, maybe do it 4 days a week. I'm only doing half days, so even if I do it 4 days a week, you're talking about me doing the equivalent of a 5 and 2, which is not that much considering I just compounded for like 4 months straight. So I think I put myself in a really good position. And I would say that if you're thinking about getting into the garden, get into the garden, put a reasonably healthy position in there. You can always DCA later too if you want to, but compound. Get yourself out in front. The garden is not quick cash. You got to put some work in, but it can end up being quicker cash than the drip faucet, because after you've compounded, like you've seen for a few months, I'm not really damaging my total plant value over here, or my plants per day. I'm not damaging my LPs. So if this continues and I can claim, 3 or 4 half days a week or 2 full days, and I can make $400 or $500 a week, that could be upwards of about $2,000 a month, which then I can distribute to other parts of the ecosystem or pay myself and not even have to touch my faucet. I can just keep those things growing. And of course, like I said, I can redistribute that so I can buy pigs. So right now the garden is printing and I'm absolutely loving it. All right, we've got it claimed, we've got it tracked. Let's go to Pancake Swap because I want to split those apart. I'm going to do 2 different things with those. Okay, we're over on Pancake Swap. We are connected. Let's go to liquidity. And as you can see, it preloaded what I have here. If not, you can get in and add them in there. But it's already here. You just click the drop down, and I'm going to click remove. I want to do 100% of it. I'm splitting these apart, right? LP tokens are 2 pieces put together, and more often than not, part of the LP is a stable coin. So that's the BUSD. We've got the drip, put them together. Right now I'm going to take them apart. I'm going to use drip most likely for airdrops because I have some major airdrops that I need to do today and tomorrow for the team. A bunch of new team members have joined. I just did a 30 drip airdrop contest, plus a couple other things that I need to take care of. And so what I'm going to need is I'm going to need the drip tokens to do that. I'm just going to show you how to do it. Okay, I clicked max, that's everything. It's gonna give me 7.3 drip and $51 in BUSD, which is awesome. So let's go enable, sign it on the ledger, remove liquidity, confirm, and it's done. So if we go back to MetaMask, we should be able to see that I've got my $51 in BUSD here, and then I've got my drip tokens, and it looks like they took, their percentage out of this. So 6.6 drip tokens is what I've got right now. Again, I'm going to utilize those for airdrops, and then I've got my $51 in BUSD, which I may just put into BNB. I'm not sure yet. So that is my breakdown on the garden. Again, it's pumping right now, still at 1.75 million. I'll have to compound here in a couple hours. I like to hyper compound this because my plants grow so fast. It's only like 5 cents or 6 cents to cycle them. So it makes sense for me to hyper compound here because it basically costs me nothing. Contract balance, 474. this continues to grow, and as long as it continues to grow, it really helps with the rate of decay. So again, this is not financial advice, but the garden is a sleeper play. If you have not got in, I will paste the tutorial, or I'll make my end screen the tutorial of what exactly the drip garden is and how to utilize it. Watch it, use my referral link if you want, don't if you don't want to. That's perfectly fine. But I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing and exactly the process for me to break the LPs apart and my strategy and tracking. So I'll try to keep up to date with this. Let me know if you like this content, and if you have any questions about your garden, I'm happy to answer them. So that's it. Made some money today. Happy investing.